I'm Vernon, the amateur chef, so-called, and this is Hugh, 35 years in business. We call him the Glaswegian gourmet. He's been 35 years in the business, started off at the age of 15, apprenticing with a professional chef in Glasgow, and here he is to teach me and you how to do things. Now, as always, we have a three-course dinner, and for a starter today, we have a fresh spinach salad with a warm balsamic vinegar dressing. This is followed by steak, what is it?
Tornadoes
rossini, which for the average person means filet mignon. And this is followed by poached pears a la Half Moon Bay. Now all these ingredients are available locally. There are very few ingredients on each dish. They're prepared simply. A lot of the work can be done ahead of time. And this is a ooh-ah dinner. Hugh, what is the secret of getting the dinner so that when your guests arrive, everything flows smoothly and there's no ulcers?
Vern, we've talked about it before many times. It's called organization.
All right, we've done the organization. Now it's preparation time. This work we're going to do now can be done in the morning or the early afternoon before the guests arrive. First, we're going to do the pears. Then we're going to pre-cook the vegetables, and we're going to do the croutons. We're going to start off with the pears. We will need 4 to 6 Bosch pears, 5 cups of water, 1 cup of sugar, 12 whole cloves, 2 cinnamon sticks, a half a teaspoon of crushed saffron, 2 whole star anise, and pear schnapps or brandy or cognac. We have 5 cups of boiling water. To that we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. Now the secret ingredients. About a dozen whole cloves. Do not use the powdered cloves, use the whole cloves. A couple of cinnamon sticks, broken up. Some star anise. Do not buy the powdered star anise. Now this star anise, you might have some difficulty finding these, but they're available in most spice shops. Now, for the most secret of secret ingredients, saffron. Saffron is actually the stigma from a crocus. And what it does, it adds color to the pears. And these pears will come out just a beautiful golden color. Saffron is used in a lot of Spanish cooking. You've probably seen at a restaurant, you have this beautiful golden colored rice and paella, which is a Spanish dish, and it's done with saffron. Okay, we're all set to add the pears. The pears have been peeled, halved, and cored. And Hugh is going to show you how to do this with one of the pears. Notice when he cuts the pear in half, the stem is left on one half of the pear. This makes for a great presentation when it comes to plate the dessert. And notice we're using a lemon baller to core it. Okay, now we can add the pears. Now, when you add the pears, okay, Hugh is a professional chef. He's doing it by hand. I prefer to use a slotted spoon so you don't burn yourself by dropping pears into boiling water. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook the pears only until they're just off firm. So we'll just cover them up, turn the heat up, and they'll be ready in about 15-20 minutes. For this dish, we will need 1 bunch of asparagus and 4 potatoes. Blanching the vegetables means pre-cooking them so they're about 3/4 done, so that when you come to assemble the final dinner, you are able to have everything come together at the same time. The steak's going to take 5 or 6 minutes. The potatoes now will take 5 or 6 minutes, as will the asparagus. So what Hugh is going to do first is the asparagus. We're going to steam the asparagus, and the first thing we have to note is how to break an asparagus. Don't cut the tip off, break it. And the reason why you're breaking it at the key junction point between the tender shoot and the tough butt end, as it were.
And if you just trim the end off so that they're all the same, Vern, you know, they're all the same size, you know.
Ah, well, after you break them.
After you break them.
Okay, so that's on. Ready to steam. Now the potatoes. The potatoes are formed And Hugh's going to show you how to form the potatoes, because presentation is 90% of the dinner. And if all the potatoes are the same size and look like sort of miniature footballs, as it were, it's going to look better on the plate. Now you can just put boiled potatoes on, but it hasn't quite got that same pizzazz.
See?
See, there we are. It's all done. So we'll put those on, and they'll take about 10 or 15 minutes. The asparagus, better turn that on, actually. Asparagus will take less than that, and we're ready to go. The next step is
the croutons will be made with French bread and 1 teaspoon of garlic and 2 tablespoons of butter.
Now the croutons are used in the steak dinner. They form a base. They form a base for the steak. And what Hugh is doing now is adding butter and garlic. Don't burn the garlic. Don't burn the garlic. And
just a little bit of garlic. Doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be a lot, right? No. Turn that burner on for you, Hugh.
Okay.
And then when the butter and garlic is melted and the garlic has infused itself into the butter, we are going to toast the garlic croutons and then put it on a plate, and we're all ready for dinner. Now, Hugh, I think the vegetables probably are ready. Shall we drain them? Now, the reason why we're putting them in ice water is to stop the cooking. Remember, we only wanted them 3/4 cooked, and if you took them off the stove now, they'd continue to cook. So what we're doing is plunging them into ice water to retard the cooking. So we can do the croutons. By the time he finishes with the croutons, the asparagus will be ready to blanch. Now after the potatoes are cooled, we can put the potatoes, drain them, and put them in one of the dishes there. All ready for the final assembly. Done.
So Vern, we don't want to burn the garlic.
No,
so
right.
If we put the croutons in, and
yep.
we just want to toast the croutons, we don't want them too hard, we want them toasted. And
it's one side done. Well, what about turning this now? I think, are they ready to turn?
yes.
Ooh, look at that. Nice brown color. Look at that. Beautiful. Scrape off a little bit of the garlic. Okay, that'll be done in a couple of minutes.
Yep. We have to
Asparagus.
take the asparagus off, and
right.
that's it. And
lots of sizzling and splashing when you do this. Yep. Okay, plunging into ice water once again to stop the cooking. When that's done, we'll drain them and put them in another dish, and now you have your vegetables ready.
there you are.
Beautiful. Look at the color. The French call this refreshing. When you plunge it in ice water, it's called refreshing. And I tell you, look at the color. Look at the color of that asparagus.
There should just be a little bit of snap left in it, see?
Beautiful. So when we reheat it, which will take about 2 minutes, it'll be ready. I think our croutons are done.
Yes, they are done.
Perfect.
Right.
Leave them aside. You don't have to refrigerate these. Just put them aside, waiting for the dinner. Look at that. Okay. And we'll take the pears out with a slotted spoon and put them in the bowl. Try to get a little of the little stuff attached to the pears, if you would. Beautiful. There we go. And now we're ready to reduce the sauce. Now to reduce the sauce, leave the lid off, because what you're doing is evaporating the water. So you need the lid off and turn the heat up real high. So that's done. We strained the sauce into here. And Hugh, do you want to explain a little bit about the sauce?
It should coat the back of the spoon. But this is reduced to 1 cup from 5 cups.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's like the sauce is reduced, and we're going to add...
We're going to add a quarter cup of pear schnapps. Now you notice the color of the pear schnapps will add to the sauce. Now you'll actually have a little more sauce than you need for the pear dessert, and ain't that great, because I tell you what, the next day on a little ice cream, unbelievable. Now for people who are worried about alcohol content in food, and I know a lot of you are, don't worry about it, because what we're doing is we're bringing that to a simmer for a couple of minutes, and what happens, the alcohol evaporates, but the flavor of the schnapps stays in place. Okay? Okay, all that's done, and we put the pears aside and the sauce aside to cool, and when they have cooled, we put them in the refrigerator covered separately waiting for the final dinner. Actually, they will be served at room temperature, but you want to put them in the fridge now until it comes time for the final assembly of the meal. Well, Hugh, that's called preparation.
Preparation.
It's now 3/4 of an hour before dinner, and we're going to bring out the vegetables to bring them to room temperature. And we have one final bit of assembly to do, and that is the assembly of the salad greens on the plate. What we're doing here, we have fresh spinach, which has been trimmed, washed, and then dried. And we have Belgian endive leaves, which is going to surround the spinach. Into each curl of the Belgian endive, Hugh is going to place a half cherry tomato. Now, while he's doing that, I'd like to describe what we've done here to make sure everything runs smoothly when it comes time to actually preparing the dinner. This pan here is going to be for the warm balsamic vinaigrette. This pan over here is for the steak. This pan here is going to be to fry the potatoes, which have been pre-cooked, remember, and we're going to put them in the oven, and then we have the steamer for reheating the asparagus. And we've also got the croutons out, and they're going to be reheated just before the assembly of the main meal. The pears and the pear sauce has been brought out of the fridge to bring to room temperature, and the reason for that is when you serve food that's ice cold, it hasn't got any flavor really. All you're doing is tasting ice cubes. So we want to warm these up, not by warming them, bring them to room temperature, and then that releases the flavor. There, we're all done, so we're going to put those back in the fridge.
Okay.
All right, the guests have arrived. You've had your little aperitif. It's now time to prepare the warm balsamic vinaigrette.
We will need 4 cups of mushrooms, 2 to 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 shallots, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 tablespoon of butter, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, half a teaspoon of salt and pepper.
And while Hugh is doing that, I'm going to be frying the potatoes. Hugh, I wonder if you could throw them in here. We're going to fry them up so they're nice and brown, and then we're going to put them in the oven to heat more. Remember, these potatoes are only 3/4 done. Remember, we formed them and then blanched them. Beautiful. While I'm stirring this around, Hugh is going to be doing the balsamic vinegar dressing.
So you start off with the diced shallots.
We're not burning them. We're just cooking them until they're all just transparent. Looks like they're almost done. Looks like they are done.
And we add just a little bit of garlic. I like garlic in this. And then we add the mushrooms. And we saute the mushrooms. Just a little bit more olive oil. So what does that look like, Vern?
It looks like mushrooms sauteed in shallots and garlic. That's what it looks like.
Beautiful.
It looks great.
Smell it?
I do.
Now we have to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce.
What would that be, like a tablespoon?
About a tablespoon.
Yep. See, Hugh's a professional chef. He keeps throwing the stuff in, but people know what he's doing.
And balsamic vinegar.
Ah, balsamic vinegar. Tell us about balsamic vinegar.
Now to finish this off, you don't need any heat. You add 2 or 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. And basically, it's finished. Like
now, balsamic vinegar, you can pay $550 for 3 ounces of original balsamic vinegar, but nobody does that. This is the kind you buy on the supermarket shelf, and it's perfectly adequate for that. That bottle there, if you paid $12 for that bottle, you'd be buying a reasonable balsamic vinegar for this dinner. Now, while Hugh's just doing that, the potatoes are okay. I'm going to take them, put them in the oven, and come back and we'll serve the salad.
You just spread it out a little bit.
You don't want to overdress your salad. You don't want your salad greens swimming
A little bit of a splash.
in vinegar. Very nice.
Doesn't that smell nice?
Hey, let's sit down and eat.
Well, I just have to.
Oh, yes, the plating. Very important.
Secret.
You notice that all professional chefs clean the side of the plate. Remember, 90% of your dinner is going to be presentation. And if you serve dirty plates, you haven't got a good meal.
Here, Vernie.
Give me a couple. We'll sit down with the guests. Well, Hugh, great salad. Ooh.
Ah. I'm ooh, you're ah.
You spell tomato, I spell tomato. Okay, now we're ready for the main course. We have filet mignon.
Tornados Rossini, Vern. It's with duck pate. So
Tornados Rossini. That's what makes it Rossini, is a duck pate. We have a crouton. We're going to put the duck pate on it. The filet is going to go on top of that, and the whole thing is going to be capped with a mushroom cap. And Hugh's going to make a fantastic sauce that goes with the steak, which is going to entail minced garlic, minced shallot, a little bit of butter, cream,
Olive oil, salt, pepper,
red wine, and brandy. So I think we're all set.
Get started.
The pan is hot, Hugh. Carry on.
So we're going to heat up some olive oil.
That's 3 tablespoons for those who want measurements.
And we're going to season the steaks.
Season the steaks?
Season the steaks.
I thought that you always seasoned meat after it was cooked.
Sea salt and black pepper.
Sea salt and black. See, I've been overruled again. We're going to do it Hugh's way. After 35 years, I think you should know. Okay, we ready to add those? Oh boy, look at that.
So,
simmer. I see you put the seasoned side down.
yes.
And why is that?
Well, a little secret, Vern, that I'm going to show you. You have to salt the other side. And pepper the other side.
Pepper, oh, absolutely fantastic. Now, Hugh, you're cooking the steaks. How can you tell it's done?
Well, that's another little secret, Vern. Now, this has to be very hot.
Okay.
You can tell when a steak is done, and it takes a little bit of learning, but if you start off between your thumb and forefinger, it's soft in there. Like as you go through between your fingers, or like just below your finger, it gets harder as you go down your finger.
So this is well done, right?
Yeah, this would be very well done.
Which you wouldn't want to do.
Right.
And this would be blue.
This would be blue.
And that's medium or rare?
Blue, rare, medium.
Now we're going to cook these medium rare, right?
See, right now, if you feel that, that's...
And press this.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, for the you taught me this a month ago, and I've been cooking steaks, and it takes a lot of getting used to. And eventually what I do, to tell you the truth, I cut one open, which is what I eat, to tell whether they're done. But I'm getting pretty good, and I'm within a few degrees each time.
So, Vern, we have the potatoes in the oven.
Right.
Okay. And they're just about ready.
Yes.
We have the water boiling for the asparagus.
Right.
We have the croutons, which can go in the oven in a few moments.
A few moments. Wait for it. Wait for it.
And as we're cooking these steaks, we can do the mushroom caps
at the same time.
Now, we don't want to overcook the mushroom caps. We just want them nice because we still have to make a sauce from what is left in the pan.
You're going to be browning just the tops of the mushroom caps, right?
Well, I'm going to turn them over.
Turn them over? Okay.
Yep. You just check every now and again, see?
Now you're searing this meat at a very hot temperature to seal in the juices, that's right?
That's correct.
Okay, good. At least I got that right. Got the seasoning wrong, but I got that right.
So this will take about 3 or 4 minutes on each side.
Okay. Okay, great. Those mushroom caps look done, Hugh.
Absolutely fantastic.
Look at the nice brown color. It'd be absolutely fantastic presentation when it's put on top of the steak, tornadoes, whatever. Whoa, look at that color. They should only take another minute or so, right?
Well, another couple of minutes, Vern.
Okay. Now, are you going to give it the finger test again?
You give it the finger test.
I'd say that's rare. Not medium. You check it.
It's blue.
Is that blue?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Now these are rare.
I see the difference. Excellent.
Okay.
Another 3 months, I'll be good at this. I don't know how many poor steaks we're going to have in the meantime. Right.
Now, they're going to continue cooking.
Ah.
Okay.
So you don't wait till they're completely cooked before you take them off.
Because they are very hot. Okay.
If that's mine, I like mine a little rare.
And me too.
Okay, so let's get them off.
So there you have the steaks.
And they're put on a warm plate.
You just keep them warm, right?
Right.
So.
Sauce time.
Sauce time. You start off with a little bit of butter.
Right.
Some garlic.
Mm-hmm. And shallots.
And shallots.
Shallots, right.
Right.
And you soften them.
You soften them.
Don't burn them.
Sweat them. Don't burn them.
Sweat them, don't burn them.
Don't burn them. And a little bit of red wine.
That'd be what, a cup?
About half a cup.
Half a cup. Half a cup.
And
now what you're really doing there is you're deglazing the pan and getting all those bits left over from the steak, aren't you?
that's right. Now can you put the croutons in the oven, please?
Right, I'll do that.
And could you bring the potatoes?
Yep, I can do that too.
And I'm going to put the asparagus on.
Wonderful.
And we're just going to add a little bit of cognac. Just a splash. About 2 tablespoons.
The potatoes look great. I'll just put them over here, Hugh.
And then we're going to add the cream, Vern.
Marvelous.
And we'll just reduce that.
Reduce that, boil it down to become sauce consistency?
Right. See,
perfect.
Very close.
Yeah. Now this won't be as thick as the sauce we did for the pears, will it?
Thicker.
Thicker?
Thicker, yes.
Oh.
See? There you are. That's your sauce.
Yep.
And we're going to plate this up, Vernon.
Yep. But guess we got to get the croutons out, right?
Can you get the croutons, please?
I'll get the croutons. Might be a little hot, maybe.
Hot. Okay.
Want me to put that asparagus on?
Nope.
It's all done?
It's all done, sir.
Doesn't take long, does it? Okay. Yeah. This is the Rossini part, is that right?
Yeah. A little bit of pate.
See, if you don't put the pate on it, you can call it filet mignon. Once you put the pate on it, you have to call it tornitos Rossini.
Right.
This is the modern method of serving food, by the way. When you go to a lot of fancy restaurants, you'll see them tier food. Now they'll do it almost like a tower.
Oh, that's...
Ooh, that's too good to throw away.
That is too good to throw away. Now you take the asparagus.
Now you notice when he cut the asparagus earlier to all the same length, you might have thought that was a rather trivial thing to do. But what it does, it improves the presentation. And presentation, once again, is 95% of the dinner. And you don't want to put too much on. 2 potatoes is just about right. All right, and then we have the little bit of pimento, which we're going to use for color. Probably lay that on the asparagus. Excellent. So it just makes the difference. You can buy this already made in a jar. I mean, you're not going to do that. Makes it complicated. And the theme is Divine Dinners Simply, right, Hugh?
That's right.
Good.
So it's not a lot of sauce, Vern. It's just enough to sort of mask the steak, and it's full of flavor because it has the red wine and cognac.
And the cognac?
Yeah.
I didn't see you putting the cognac in, but I guess you must have.
Well, that was one of the trips you had to the oven that took you
right.
3 days.
Right.
So
now before you forget, we have those sprigs of rosemary from my garden. I went to a lot of trouble to get that, so
elephants don't forget.
Well, were you talking about your size now, or the fact you got a great memory?
Okay. So now we just don't forget.
By the way, I have to add.
Presentation.
I have to add, these were served on warm plates. Always serve hot food on warm plates.
So what do you think, Vern?
Well, I want the big one.
Does that pass?
That's ooh-ah.
Ooh-ah.
Well, my steak was done perfectly. It was ooh and ah.
I'm ooh.
And I'm ah. Okay, now we're ready for the dessert. And notice the pears, the beautiful color the saffron gave those pears. So what we're going to do is we're going to plate the pears. We put one part on, and then we're going to put the other. Okay, now watch what he's doing here. And he's going to fan it. See, simple, but look at the presentation. Now, if you feel uncomfortable with that, you don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to do that.
So what we're going to do is plate all 4 plates with 2 pieces each, preferably one piece with a stem on it and one piece without a stem. Now, you see why I left the stem on? Just that little extra panache for the presentation. Oh, he's going to do another one. He likes doing that, doesn't he? Mm.
Mm. Smells great, Vern.
It does. And then we're going to put a little dollop of whipped cream on, and then we're going to put some fresh blackberries from my garden. You notice how he's plating the sauce. He's putting the sauce on the plate rather than too much on the pears. This is the modern method of serving. You'll see it done in restaurant after restaurant. It's a great technique. Notice the syrup. You notice how when he puts it on the plate, it doesn't run all over the place. It stays, has body to it. Now all we need is a dollop of whipped cream.
Not a lot of whipped cream, just
a dollop.
A dollop.
A dollop.
A dollop.
And a few blackberries, just for color. Wonderful. Any berries will work here. That little panache that you need. Okay, now before we take it out to the table, Hugh, a little toast.
Hello.
Bon appetito. You've done a fabulous job. I learned a lot. I don't know if anybody else did, but I did. Yep.
Well, I hope the audience.
Yes.